Hello everyone, this is the Match Dimension Stamps Project Club and that's issue number 67. I've already cut to size all my bits and pieces. Got my base card, a little sticky note, bit of paper. This is the bottom panel of the card, and the white bit measures 13.5 centimetres times 6 centimetres, and the blue background measures 14.5 centimetres times 7 centimetres. We'll be using that piece of white first, so I'll put that on to one side. And then we've got the top half of the card, and that measures 12 centimetres squared and 13 centimetres squared. So I'll put them to one side for a minute. I'm going to start by stamping the cup and saucer. And I'm going to use VersaFine ink. But what I've actually done to start off with is, on a scrap piece of paper, stamped the cup and saucer in a row, then measured to the size of my white card, and then there's my 13.5 centimetre width. But what this allows me to do is to see where I need to start off with my first image, so I can use that as a bit of reference. Now, because I'm using VersaFine and a sticky note, I can't stick the sticky note on properly. If I put too much pressure on it, I'm going to actually lift the ink and then it won't emboss, because I want to emboss with detail clear embossing powder. So when I do this, I'm just going to lay it on and then move it across accordingly. And checking my sticky part is at the bottom, so let's ink up. So using this as my reference, try and get it as central as I can. I can see how far I need it. VersaFine will stay wet long enough for you to do this. If you're not confident, just use your black memento. So I'm just going to cover it up like so. And then the next one, using my scrap as reference, and then move it along. And this one's a little easier because you can actually see on the post-it note where your last stamp was, so you can also use that as a guide. Don't press it on, just lay it down. Last one. And that's covered it all nicely. So I'm now going to heat emboss this and use my Pro markers just to colour in. And here's the coloured panel. I've just used a pale green and a pale blue Pro markers and edged it in a cool grey one, I think it was. I like to do a light background, just gives it a little bit of lift. I've already matte and laid it, so we're moving on to the 12cm square piece of card. I have used my anti-static bag on this one, but for this I'm going to use the Stampressive. So place my piece of card. Just going to use a bit of low tack tape, and on this piece of card I need the teapot. Now I'm actually putting down the stamping side face down and placing it where I want it. That looks about right. And in this bottom corner I'm going to put the and relax, again face down, right side down, a little bit sticky but persevere. And in the top left hand corner I'm going to use the happy birthday stamp. So that's about straight from what I can see. So I'm just going to pick those up by closing the lid. 1, 2, 3. And then they're in the nice right place. Just make sure that I adhered properly. Then I'm going to use the VersaFine again and heat emboss with Detail Clear Embossing Powder. So add the ink, close the Stampressive and use the roller. Just up and down movements, that's all you need. Not a lot of pressure. If you've seen the other videos using these, you'll see how easy it actually is. And there's our stamped impression. So what I'm going to do next is again colour just the edges, the tea itself, and a little bit of blue around the edge of the teapot. So I'm going to heat emboss first. Okay, so I've added some colour to my teapot. I don't know if you can see just some pale blue around the black lines on the teapot. I'm really rubbish at cutting out, and if I leave any little gaps by colouring the same colour as the paper, it just disguises it a little bit. So I've done the actual tea and I've gone round the edge with a light grey pro marker. Next we want to do the little frame around the text. So for this I want to use the frame that comes in the set, but I've actually cut mine up and it actually comes in one piece. I've cut mine up, you can see that. There's one side, there's the other, actually goes that way, and there's the end piece there. As you can see, I could actually stick it all back together as one, but I wanted to use this little flower on its own, and then I thought, well, there's no point in just having two long sides, so I split it again so that we'd got a proper corner and a long piece which we could use as an extender, and then a little piece on its own. So I'm going to use this corner piece and I'm going to use some blue ink. I'm actually using the Memento blue. And then all we're doing is framing the text in the corner, like so. So if I turn it round, like so. So Just add a little bit of colour. Okay, I've added a bit of colour to the flowers, just round the inside edge with the blue, and I've done all the leaves in green. Next, using our spotty paper, I need to stamp out the teapot and cup and the little flowers, but we'll do the teapot and cup first. I'm going to use black Memento ink for the teapot. So I'll take the text pieces off. I want to leave a bit of room. That's okay. So using Memento, ink up, and we have our teapot. And then using the blue ink, we need to do 4 of the little flowers. We need to cut out our flowers. We can cut them out ordinary, just on the outside of each of the 4 flowers. And then on the teapot, we want to cut on the inside edge. Now, if you've done your main image in Memento, you don't need to do that. You can cut it out normally to the outside edge. But because I've used VersaFine and the cleared embossing powder, I've got a nice shiny line all the way around. And I don't actually want to cover that, so that's why I did the colour on the inside. So I need to cut just on the inside. Now we need to use a little bit of PVA glue and stick everything in place. What I like to do is just give everything a slight little shape, so there's no ends sticking up at each side. And when you attach your glue, only put the glue to the inside, because when you squash it down, the glue will expand and we don't want it seeping out of the side. Using clear drying PVA just in the middle. Might be better using my tweezers. And just place it over your stamped image, press it down. A little bit of shaping. So this is the last piece. And now we need to mat it onto our blue square. I've put both pieces on the front of my base card, and I put the bottom panel on first, and then I could actually see how much room I'd got to place the top one. So I just want to finish off by using the light blue Pro marker and just giving some shading to the side of the teapot and of the cup. Just rounding it off a little bit, and that's all we need to do, and that's this month's card. Thank you. Bye.